Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Jamie Dawn. I am your professional psychic advisor, success coach, evolutionary revolutionary. And as you can see, I have my best friend and fellow psychic, Oliver Gutorm, joining me today because, why not? Because we do duet readings because it's fun,
It is
right?
fun.
And because I value his wisdom and insights, and we want to talk about the energy for the week of April 2nd. 2018. I can't believe we're already in April.
I was just thinking that, and then
Wow.
you said it.
Right? Isn't that how we work? So, just a little shameless plug. If you ever want a duet reading with Oliver and I, you can find us over at 12Listen, and there is a time-based session for a 30-minute duet reading for us, as well as if you're in the Richmond, Virginia area, you can come here to the office, and we'd love to sit down with you. So with all that being said, Oliver, what's going on this week? Because I don't know about you, I'm feeling some weird stuff. Almost like nothing's happening, but yet something's happening.
I think that is weird because we're like Mercury retrograde, because we have to blame him on everything, especially when technology is not working. And then, I don't know, I was sitting down, tapping into it and going, it's a pretty peaceful week.
It seems like it, right? And yet, why does it feel disturbing? And part of that is because the big talk of the town, as you'll see in my newsletter, I'm sure many of you are catching up with the other newsletters and information that's out there, this Saturn and Mars conjunction that's going on in Capricorn, we've got these are heavy hitters. I mean, in astrology, they're called malefic planets, right? Which tend to have this whole idea of it being bad, but they are rather intense. I mean, it's tough. I can tell you, even just today, earlier, I'm working through some stuff that keeps coming up. I'm like, really? Do I have to look at that again? Am I not over it yet? And yet what I'm finding, because we were talking about how we all bring our patterns, right, to anything.
Yeah,
and
just today we talked about that.
Right? And we're noticing that when we are confronted with our thoughts, with a situation or a person, we have a way of sliding into our old patterns, or we're using that particular situation or energy to work through that pattern. Yeah. So, and obviously as the evolutionary revolutionary program that I'm working on and with and develop my book, it's all about recognizing those patterns, changing them, and using that as a way to have a positive impact on the world. So I've done something different today.
But that's what we talked about today.
Yeah.
How can we use, because we recognize the patterns.
Right.
So you were clever enough to say, well, how can we break those patterns and do something different? And I just interrupted you.
No, that's exactly right, because that's what we're looking at. We're looking at ways that we recognize it and break it. And what I did was I included somebody else to help me. I don't ask for help very easily.
No, you don't.
And I love helping everybody else to the point that I can become a martyr, right? And yeah, talk about, we just came off Easter. I digress, but it's easy to digress when you're here.
Yeah, I know.
So,
that happens all the time. We're like, squirrel.
But I think that's also something else we're going to pay attention to this week is how easily we can be distracted because nothing's happening, or how we can create something that isn't there.
But that's an interesting point. When you do slide into that place where suddenly, wait, what? I have nothing to worry about? I should create something to worry about.
Right.
Which my suggestion for the week and the energies that are surrounding us is allow yourself to stay in that quiet place. It's just a week, Next week again, it'll be something that you can worry about. But this week, just sit back and enjoy. It's like taking a vacation, like mini vacation.
Yeah, and with all this Mercury retrograde, like we were joking about, it allows us time to reassess and maybe revisit and nothing else, blame that little planet and say, I just need a break because Mercury's retrograde, or something went wrong. I missed that appointment or whatever, and Mercury's retrograde.
I traveled just this Wednesday during a Mercury retrograde, and it was easy.
Yeah.
Nothing, no delays, no nothing.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the common themes that I'm hearing with this whole Mercury retrograde is that if something does go wrong, or it appears to go wrong, like not being able to find the remote or whatever, we end up finding another solution. Something better comes out of that breakdown. you know, the car breaking down or the delay in the travel or the miscommunication, suddenly it's like, oh, here's a subject matter that I didn't know needed to be talked about, but let's talk about it, you know?
Because it can shed light instead
That's
of
right.
instead of pushing it away, you know, and saying, oh, I always I always feel sort of a little bit, you know, like beside myself when I hear about, should I be afraid of a planet? I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't really run away from it.
Right? So what do? We stand up in the middle of it. It's not trying to overpower the energy because you can't make yourself feel something. But what you can
No, you
do
can't.
is you can befriend it. You can let yourself work with it. Put
Yeah.
your arm around it and say, okay, what are you here for? What do I need to know?
And I think Mercury retrograde, because it happens 3 times a year, I mean, we can't really run away from that. And to be scared 3 times a year because a planet goes retrograde is kind of silly. And there's a lot of fear mongering out there. There's a lot of, you know, you should be careful now. And I don't know. I mean, if you actually find yourself, you had a very good explanation here the other day. Somebody was going to buy a car, and you said, just check the fine print. If you have to buy a car, go out and buy a car, but check everything. And that's a good thing. Because
Yeah.
normally we don't do that.
Right. And it's a great time. Mercury retrograde is a perfect time for questioning things. And with
Yeah.
all this Capricorn energy that we're experiencing with Mars and Saturn and Capricorn, is that it allows us, and Pluto, it allows us to question authority. It's important that we question authority because what it does is it allows us, even as we're questioning maybe our own inner authority, to build trust in ourselves again, to be able to say, where are
Yes.
these outdated structures or these things in my life that I have accumulated and I built that aren't working anymore? Why do I keep running back into that burning building?
The burning building
Right?
again. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's time to let it all go.
Yeah, strip it off. I mean, just
Yeah. So again, this week, even though we're talking about stripping things away and letting it go, I mean, that's sort of an underpinning that's happening, is that even
that's a continuing feeling.
it's a continuation.
Yeah,
It's going to
yeah.
be for a while. Slow and steady. Like this week, slow and steady. Take your time. Like you're saying, enjoy the being, like you're on vacation. You know, there's no agenda. You sort of get up, you have a cup of coffee, tea, whatever. Enjoy the surroundings.
Yeah.
And when something like fear or doubt does present itself, it's great to have somebody to talk to about it.
That's one of my points is that, you know, you got friends.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends.
And you were going around asking people, I love this, last week when he was
Okay.
traveling, he was going around asking people what makes them happy. And what was the number one answer?
Family.
Family.
Yeah, I asked just about since 6 o'clock in the morning until I arrived in Richmond. I asked them on the subway, in the airport, the woman who was checking me in. I was asking people on the plane, again in the airport when I came to Richmond. And I asked them, can I ask you a question? And people, they always get sort of like a little weary, like, what does he mean by that? And so I said, well, what makes you happy? And it was interesting to see how people were taking sort of aback. And but I would say 75% of the people that I asked, they said family. Their answer was family.
Yeah. So I think that's a really valid, and we know that family is more than just blood, you know, that our family are people that we feel safe and that we can trust and that we can lean on, and that we are going to have arguments, but we're safe with that even. You know, we've been
Yes.
talking about how every time we get together and we have conversations, something else matures and evolves. And part of that is us really doing this truth telling, being able to speak
Yeah.
truth. You know, I talk about it all the time lately of even in the little things, I don't want to even say a white lie. I don't even want to pretend, right? It's like,
true.
let's speak truth and do it in a way that is loving and conscious. And having somebody that you trust and feel safe with makes it an easier opportunity. And that's something that hopefully you guys who have ever had a reading with me and with Oliver, hopefully you feel like you're part of our family, that you feel safe and that you can trust us. And so I'd love to offer that to everybody who is watching this video. Thank you. Like, share, comment. And part of what we're going to continue to do to support you is we're going to be available over at One to
Yep.
Listen. You can reach me at jamiedawn.com. And of course, I have my radio show every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific at noon Eastern. And we'd love to see you. So thank you for
Thank
being
you for
a part
having
of
me
this.
again. I
Yeah.
love being on your little being here and sharing these moments with you.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great week. Remember, slow and steady. Don't blame Mercury. Use it. Whatever shows up, partner with it. And as I like to say, be kind.
And pretend you're in Turks and Caicos.
There you go. Go on vacation. See yourself maybe on vacation, that happy place, right? All right, guys. Have a great week. You know how to find us. Take care.